Welcome, welcome, welcome. You are listening to Bras, Panties and Sports. Spring is almost here, and we're ready. I'm Spitface. Please welcome our host, the First Lady of Sports Talk, Cheryl Smith, fresh from all that NFL trade.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Yeah, it seems like quarterbacks are a dime a dozen all of a sudden. Dime a dozen. Kyler Murray. It's a whole bunch of them out there.
Yeah. Hey, you say quarterbacks are a dime. Are they turning it into running backs? You know, where the quarterbacks ain't starting to get no props. Oh, man. All right, this week on Shout Out, we have performances from Dr. Empress Rose Green. Will she find her shining star or get the cold feel of the mute button? First Lady, we're ready. What you say?
Each week, we try to figure out what is going on in the sports world. Not the plays of the week, more like the players of the week. Are they trying to tell us something? So we ask, what you saying? Fly, little birdie, fly. Time keeps on slipping into the future. Time keeps on slipping into the future. So I want to fly like an eagle to the sea. Fly like an eagle, let the spirit carry me. I want to fly right into the future. The little birdie known as Tua Tagovailoa is flapping his wings and flying far, far away from the dysfunction known as the Miami Dolphins into the loving arms of the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons were able to land a starting caliber quarterback for the league minimum. Should Michael Penix be worried about Tua on the roster competing for that starting job? Will Tua be the luckiest guy out of Miami? He gets to play in warm weather, the NFC South, and for an organization that is ready to win. George Foreman, Marvelous Marvin Hagler, both rest in peace, Bernard Hopkins, Roy Jones Jr., and the Steve Miller Band are asking, what you saying? You know, Spitface, it was obvious why the Falcons signed Tua for the minimum. I mean, the price point is actually worthwhile for the Falcons to find out whether his struggles were due to the quarterback he's today, or was it due to playing for a terrible, deteriorating Dolphins team. Now, they're going to find out. Now, Falcons obviously brought Tua in as a bridge quarterback just in case Michael Penix is not ready to start the season. He is recovering from torn ACL surgery. You know, also, if he is ready, like if Penix can play, Tua will be able to deliver competition for Michael Penix Jr. And, that competition for that starting quarterback. And the thing about bringing in Tua, there's a commonality between the two, between Tua and Penix, is the fact that they are both lefties and pocket passers. So this allows the Falcons to build their offense accordingly no matter who is under center. Now, the question is, why would Tua pick the Falcons, and why is he probably the luckiest guy out of Miami? He has a chance to initially be the starting quarterback. If Penix is not ready to return, he could be the starting quarterback. So that's important to Tua. And the fact, like the producers already said, it's warm weather. And he could have gone to the Jets, but we know the Jets play in cold weather, and then, he definitely would have been a starter for the Jets. But again, he comes with a lot of pressures playing in New York and playing in cold weather. Atlanta offers a clear path for playing time for Tua, especially with Penix recovering from the surgery. Now, it is expected that Penix may be available at the start of the season. But the fact that there is a new regime in Atlanta, so, I don't know if they are really married or that's their quarterback. That's their young quarterback, So Tua should have a fair shot at competition and the starting job. And there's a possibility that, with the injury from Penix, he may not begin the season. So is it a risk for Tua? I mean, it's a risk because if if Penix is healthy to start the season, the question is, will Tua be able to overtake Penix as the starter? And I look at it this way. Penix is not to me regarded as a backup quarterback, especially since the Falcons drafted him number 8 in the 2024 draft. Matter of fact, a lot of people were surprised that they moved up that they drafted Penix so early in that particular draft. And so that's why Tua is risking, because he could start with the Jets, and that's he really didn't have that many options to go to be honest with you. The Jets and Atlanta were probably the only 2 options he had. But the question is, should Penix be worried about Tua? I don't really think so, because even though he had an injury, I really think Michael Penix should be worried and concerned more about his recovery from that ACL injury, because, the question is, how will he play after the return of that injury, returning from that injury. As I said, I believe the Falcons will choose Penix over Tua, even if Tua gets, starts the season well. I mean, they have Penix. So, again, it's going to be interesting. Because, Michael Penix can throw that deep ball where Tua cannot consistently throw a deep ball. He's always been criticized for not being able to do the deep passes. But again, Michael Penix is has more upside than Tua. So again, it depends on the new regime. It depends on how they value Michael Penix. Because remember, they didn't choose Michael Penix as their quarterback, and that's I forgot the coach now. He's from the Browns, the coach from the Browns. So that was Stefanowski. I can't remember the coach right now. But again, I think Michael Penix should not really have that much concern. Right now the Falcons will be in great shape because they'll have 2 serviceable quarterbacks. One of them has franchise quarterback potential, and that's Michael Penix. I don't think at this stage Tua is no longer considered to be a franchise quarterback, but he's a good quarterback. All right, Spitface, what's your take on this?
Tua can't lose. He is in a no-lose scenario. And he's in that no-lose scenario because whether he starts or he's the, quote, backup, all Tua has to do is glide through this season, maybe make an appearance or 2 and show that he still got it. And next season, he will be starting on somebody's team. And what I look at with Tua is he's going to have a short path to being another Baker Mayfield. Kick me to the curb. He might not have as many lumps and bumps as Baker Mayfield, but Tua is going to get it. He may give Michael Penix a run, and because Penix is recovering, and Penix does have to get his, quote, sea legs back under him. So Tua may have a slight competitive edge. And if they say, look, this is our number 1 draft pick, we rolling with him, he's the upside, they're going to go with that, no matter what Tua does. But there's also that element called win, baby, win. And you have a quarterback that starts the season saying it's Tua because Penix isn't ready and he's winning, and it only take a few games for you to say, I cannot take him out unless we start losing. And that's, really, it's not a great situation, because then that starter, let's say be Michael Penix, has to come in and all of a sudden, raise his franchise. So, that can be kind of murky. But, hey, when someone is winning, it's hard to make a move. But Tua lucked out. Atlanta is a pretty good organization to hang out in. Okay, the city, the team and the management, they're pretty decent organization. So, you're not messing around with, some other organizations like the Browns that you know what the hell they doing. So, he lucked up there. And then, all his competition, inside the division is in warm weather. It truly is the NFC South. So, Tua has never proven that he can consistently win games, when the temperature is below 50 degrees. So, he needs to be in the NFC South. And the NFC South is kind of wide open. So he's not going to have to play, just an occasional game outside the division that might be in cold weather. So that just kind of personally helps Tua out. But he can kick back and just, kind of keep his name out there somewhat and just ride through this season and kind of work on his own skills. And, being able to show some organization like, hey, roll the dice on me one more time. Because there's going to be teams at the end of the upcoming season who they're going to be looking for a quarterback again. They're going to go, Tua's pretty good soldier over there in Atlanta. And he do have skills, and he came in the game a couple of times, or he started the season, and he was looking sharp, and they're going to roll the dice on it. So Tua, now Miami, that it looks like the Tank It for Tua project didn't quite work out the way you expected. But, hey, there's next season. That's all I'm saying, First Lady.
Okay, yeah. So, you're happy for Tua. He had a rough time in Miami at the end, and like you said, it's a win-win situation for him. So we'll see how things roll. Like I said, all these quarterbacks shifting around, Kyler Murray and everyone else. So we'll see how it goes. All right, Spitface, over to you.
Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years, rocking my peers and putting suckers to fear, making the tears rain down like a monsoon, listening to the bass go boom. Explosion, overpowering, over the competition, I'm towering. Wrecking shop when I drop these lyrics that'll make you call the cops. Don't you dare stare, you better move. Don't ever compare me to the rest that all get sliced and diced, competition paying the price. I'm gonna knock you out, Mama said knock you out, We are talking about the knockout punch to the Washington Wizards by Bam Adebayo's 83-point night. Ooh, Bam Adebayo's 83-point night was one to remember in Miami. But not everyone was pleased. Adebayo wound up scoring 83 points. It was the second highest total by any player in any game in NBA history, passing Kobe Bryant's 81 and trailing only Wilt Chamberlain's 100. The Heat, who won 150 to 129, obviously loved it. Not everybody did. There were immediate detractors who pointed to Adebayo's absurd, one-of-a-kind stat line: 43 field goal attempts, 22 three-point attempts, and most of all, NBA records of 36 free throws and 43 attempts as proof of stat padding. Stat, kiss. Some even went as far as to question the integrity of the game. Though to be fair, many also celebrated Adebayo's night. Leroy Satchel Paige, Walter Buck Leonard, and my man James Cool Papa Bell are asking what you say. And First Lady, haters, Haters, I think there's some hate going on. Now, I put it like this. I kind of hate to lose it. My players, I don't care if one player got 100 points, but we lost the game. That's the thing. That let them get 100, let them get 120 points, but we win the game. So what? I'm like, don't be upset that a single player did whatever they did. You lost the game. That's the important thing. Maybe he did pad his stat, so you lost the game. And now it just happens to be, a little sauce on top that an individual player for the other team, made some records off of your team. But you lost the game. If he had 83 points, but the score was 150, 129, and you won, you be okay. Yeah. It's great. Wow, that was amazing. Y'all be doing that. But y'all be like, I still won the game. So, hating, you hate it. Drink to that hate age. First lady, what you say?
Well, I mean, what Bam Adebayo did was phenomenal, because we're not talking about somebody who's always been a consistent scorer. I mean, I watched the Heat and I watched Bam, and unfortunately I did not see that particular game, he's the type of player that plays defense, and he does have offense, but he doesn't always try to score a lot of points. Sometimes, they want Bam to shoot more. So, I mean, I don't know what got into Bam this time around. They may need to go drug test Bam. To Bam, that all of a sudden he went off. And now, of course, nobody was in the game that could have scored for the Heat. And we're talking about Tyler Hero. Wiggins was out. Tyler Hero was out. So he probably was their only main scorer that they had in there. So he went off. And now, of course, yes, there's a lot of controversy that a lot of the points were manufactured for him to pass Kobe's 81, because, it really got to the last 3 minutes. I heard that they was talking about that the Wizards were intentionally fouling intentionally fouling other players, so Bam wouldn't have a chance to score. And then because they were intentionally fouling other players, the Heat players who were being fouled were intentionally missing the free throws to give Bam more opportunities to score. So, it became a spectacle at the end. But you want to know something? They said the same thing happened with Wilt Chamberlain when he scored his 100 points. They was intentionally fouling Wilt, because if you remember, Wilt Chamberlain was not a great free throw. He could not make his free throws, but in that 100 game, he actually was starting to make his free throws. So, and then you got Kobe Bryant. Now, Kobe Bryant has always been a gunner. He's always shooting, so it's not unusual for him to just jack up shots, because that's what Kobe does. But, they even said down the end, Kobe was still in the game, and the Lakers were up against the Raptors, up 20-something points. So it wasn't that different from what Kobe did and what Bam did. I mean, everybody is just shocked is Bam Adebayo. Because with the players in this league, you would not expect him to be the one to break Kobe's 81 record. You just wouldn't. You would think of Durant. You would think of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. You would think of Jason Tatum. I mean, there's so many other players in the league that we know can get in the 70s. There's been a lot of players. I mean, Joel Embiid got into the 70s, and he sat the whole fourth quarter. So he could have easily broken Kobe's record. So a lot of people are, a lot of the Kobe fan clubs are salty about Bam breaking that record and the way he did it, and that's what the controversy is about. You know, you got a lot of the pundits, the news people, the sports pundits that are very, very upset. They said it was a spectacle at the end of the game. And, you know, they talk about heat culture. And I'm going to be honest with you, I was surprised that Spoelstra did not remove him from the game because, you know, Eric Spoelstra is always about playing right, the integrity of the game. So it was kind of shocking what happened at the end of that game. The last 3 minutes. I didn't think that was heat culture, to be honest with you. But you know what? Hey, what he did still will be in the record books. Nobody will remember what took place at the end of that game, the last 3 minutes for him to get to that 83. So it was remarkable because no one expected Bam Adebayo's name to be mentioned with Will, Bam, and Kobe. But it does leave things open because I guarantee you that Bam's record will be broken very shortly. And I don't think it will be broken in this season because, you know, a lot of the teams that have those big time scorers, they're trying to get playoff positions. So I don't think they will jeopardize anything like that. But I guarantee you heard it from me, next season, one of those scorers will definitely break Bam's record because if you remember, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he has been in the 40s and sat on the bench for the whole fourth quarter. He, you know, because they were always, OKC was always in the lead. So his coach will always sit him on the bench. He could easily get to 70 or 80. So it's going to be interesting. I know next year that record will be broken. That's all I'll say.
Bam, you better enjoy your record while you can. All right, First Lady, you have the last word. Please take us to break.
Stay tuned. Up next, we have a performance from Dr. Empress Rose Green on Shout Out Part 1.
Bam. Welcome back. The music flows in from around the globe. To get a shout out from the panel, First Lady, I can't wait to hear the music from Dr. Empress Rose Green.
On Shout Out, we feature new independent artists who are looking to find their shining star. If we like what we hear, we'll give a track a shout out. If we don't like it, we hit the mute. We are featuring music from Dr. Empress Rose Green and her hit album, Negritude, the names they try to silence. They say Dr. Empress Rose Green, solo track performer of 6-piece touring band who combines spoken word plus reggae plus hip-hop for an infectious, unforgettable performance. All right, DJ, let's hear where are the reparations? Yeah, where are our reparations?
Where are the reparations? Not the empty apologies, not the statues pulled down at midnight, but the redress, the reckoning, the check cut from the vault of colonial profit. The age of revolution, 1776, liberty rang in Philadelphia, while my ancestors picked cotton in North Carolina. Not one word in the Constitution for the broken backs that built it. They toasted freedom on the candlelight while shackles clanked like chains of commerce. George Washington had wooden teeth, but some say they were pulled from black mouths. Where's the invoice for the pain? Where's the audit for that silence? Where are the reparations? So Saint Ilovator burned plantations in Haiti, and from that ash he grew the first black republic. France bled riches from Saint Dominique, then charged the freed for their freedom. Where is that money now? In what European bank does that debt still grow interest? The 1800s brought slavery and civil war. Frederick Douglass spoke with fire in his throat. Emancipation they called it, but no. 40 acres, no mule, no recompense. Instead, they birthed Jim Crow from Lincoln's shadow. Sharecroppers traded chains for debt. Different news, same net. Harriet Tubman rode on the Brown Railroad like a general, carrying souls like stolen treasure to free soil. But where was her pension, her medals? She died in poverty, a soldier without a nation. Where are the reparations? The Red Summer of 1919, Tulsa, 1921, Black Wall Street turned to cinder. Insurance companies called it riot, refused to pay for the arson. We'll still live in that denial. Burned, then blamed. MLK had a vision, but he also had demands. He spoke of a check mark, insufficient funds, a promissory note that never honored. Then they shot him, not just with bullets, but silence. Malcolm X, we didn't land on Plymouth Rock landed on us. Still, we carry the weight till today. Well, present day, there's a global reckoning. Now Barbados removes the Queen, and the Caribbean nations draft reparation claims. The Crown sips tea while the descendants of slaves drink rust from poison pipes. In the U.S., they study it, debate it, as if unpaid labor is still unpaid because it's complicated, as if generations of redlining, sterilization, stolen wealth, and schools are screaming from the spreadsheets. So here's our protest, our cry to the ancestors. Where are the reparations? Not just in dollars, but in land, in healing, in truth, in the rewriting of history books. In equity, not charity. In power, not pity. You can't bury injustice beneath time. You can't drown pain in patriotism. You can't whitewash what was built on black backs. We are not asking, we are calling. We are not begging, we are billing. Where are the reparations? Where are the reparations?
Okay. All right. That was Dr. Empress Rose Green. Well, Spitface, I like spoken word, and obviously I think what she was saying was powerful because, we are due reparations. There's every ethnic group that's had issues in the United States has received their reparations, except for African Americans. So I just don't understand it. Slavery was something real. I know that our current president wants to wipe out anything that has to do with slavery in the United States, but you can't wipe out the truth because there was slavery and we are due reparations. The Jewish people got reparations for the Holocaust. The Italians, the Asians, there's so many different groups of people that had received reparations except for the African Americans. So anyway, I'm going to shout it out. Shout it out. What you going to give, Spitface, a shout out or the mute button?
I'm giving it 2 snaps and a toe tap. Snap. As our poets in the house would say. So, I'm giving it a shout out. The Empress, the Dr. Empress. I ain't, First Lady, I haven't met too many Dr. Empresses. Now I kind of narrow lane. I know you out in the world on ships and all that stuff, but I ain't ran into no Dr. Empresses, but she got down. So I'm giving her a shout out. And 2 snaps and a toe tap. Okay.
All right. Well, on part 2 of Shout Out, we'll be featuring another performance from the Dr. Empress Rose Green. Is that the sound of our favorite underwater friend? Is it time for Flip It?
No one to see is smarter than you. And we live in a world of lying at home under the
All right, it is time for Flip It, where our hosts defend the point of view and then flip the script and defend the opposing view. The trades in the NFL have been interesting. We wonder, would J.J. McCarthy be a big loser if Kyler Murray ends up landing in Minnesota? Defend. J.J. is their man. He has nothing to worry about. First Lady, J.J. is, I want to say, like, kind of exciting. He really is. The young man got some skills. He went out there and performed well as really this was his rookie season. And he performed well. And he brought a lot of energy to that offense. And, these young guys, they got some spirit. I'll put it like this. The cat got some spirit. He kind of remind me, not so much skill or what he produced, but he kind of remind me of that Joe Burrow attitude. He want to have some fun. You can tell he wants to make the big play. He, wants to be the man. He just want it. And he has skills. Now, he may not have Joe Burrow skills, but the cat got skills. He can play the game. And they drafted him number 1. They drafted something like JJ. You don't have anything to worry about. They're going to bring in that buster, Kyler Murray, And, I don't know. I'm biased. I was never a Kyler Murray fan. I thought he was overrated. And I think he's still overrated. Now, and I'll say Kyler got some skills, but, there's just something, he ain't got that chemistry that fits in, that makes you, a team that, I don't know what's up with Kyler, hanging out there in the desert that, things can happen to you. I've heard stories. But JJ, you don't have to look over your back. You can just chill and keep on hitting your man in the end zone and doing the little dance. You got this. First Lady, please defend. JJ is their first round pick and starter. No need to worry.
Well, that's it. J.J. McCarthy is the first round pick. That's why they got rid of Sam Darnold, even though the GM got fired for it. But that's the reason why they got rid of him, because they picked him as the number 1 pick. That's a first round pick. So you really don't want to call J.J. McCarthy a bust right now. So you have to believe in J.J. McCarthy. And he's an elite poised guy. He has high IQ. He could be a playmaker. He has a strong arm. He has some type of accuracy. He just came off of an injury. So, like you said, that was his first season last year. So when you come off an injury, you really don't really know how you're going to play. And sometimes you worry about that injury. And so JJ, I expect JJ to be much, much better this season. Excuse me. And he has a lot of athleticism. And, where he can do things off scripted from the regular play calling. He just couldn't perform the way they wanted him to perform last season. And I just think it was because of the fact that he was coming off of that injury. I really think he's going to show what he can do this season. And it's kudos to the Vikings for not giving up on their number 1 pick. You don't give up on a number 1 pick just after one season. I mean, that's just kind of crazy. That's showing that you guys don't know what you're doing from a front office point of view. So that's the reason why they have to keep him, and that's another reason why, I think he's going to have a good season. He has, like I said, he has a great IQ, and he just got that mentality that's going to be what you need in a quarterback. He did it when he was in Michigan, and so he got them to a championship. And JJ is the man. He has nothing to worry about. Kyler Murray, Kyler Murray is shorter than him, And, he doesn't have the mobility as Kyler Murray, but J.J. McCarthy can do just about the same thing Kyler Murray can do. So, J.J., don't worry. You the man. You the man, you the man, you the man.
All right. He the man. All right. Well, this is flip it. Murray is an experienced veteran with multiple 3,700 plus passing yard seasons. JJ, you better watch out. The part of what JJ, they invested in JJ, and JJ had a decent season in, let's say, his rebuilding year, because he had his rookie season, he was injured, and so last season was really about getting him healthy, seeing what they got. And what they saw was that the kid has some potential. The Vikings have a defense and an offense that is built for winning now. And the threat to JJ is someone who can fit in their system that will have them win now versus someone who, yes, this is his sophomore season, but still doesn't have that veteran seasoning to get over the hump. Kyler Murray, this is his last roll of the dice. It's either Kyler, you got to show, you need to Kyler know he got to beat out JJ. He got to beat him out. Or he has to put so much pressure on JJ that JJ steadily looking over his shoulder, because this is it for Kyler Murray if he ever want to get another starting job. And because otherwise they'll go shorty. Minnesota picked you up on that cheap contract because Arizona had to pay the remainder. But we ain't going to spend that big money to make you a starter. Yeah, you will be relegated to second tier forever. So, JJ, better watch out. You better watch out. First Lady defend a health of Kyler Murray is a true threat to JJ, keeping the starting job.
Yeah, of course it is a true threat. I've already stated that Kyler Murray is more mobile than J.J. McCarthy, and he's a proven veteran. And, when you have a veteran who's, like you said, this might be it. And he's on his last straw right now. And they were able to get him on the cheap side. And, when you get a quality quarterback as a backup, that's a lot of competition for J.J. McCarthy. And there's been rumors that a lot of those players on that team, they really prefer Kyler Murray because of his, he's been there before, and they just didn't have confidence in J.J. McCarthy. And, like J.J. had that torn meniscus, so really, I don't know if he really was able to move around the way that he wanted to, because, sometimes you got knee problems, you're a little bit gimpy and a little bit afraid to move this way, move that way. And, J.J. wasn't at his best last season. But we know what Kyler can do if he's healthy. And that's a big if, because Kyler has always had some health issues. That's one of the main reasons why the Cardinals got rid of him. But, but when he's healthy, he's a great passer. He can pass deep. He's mobile. What can't Kyler do? Only thing Kyler can't do, he can't grow a few more inches. And that's the problem with Kyler Murray. He's short. That's it. That's it. But JJ, JJ is younger, but JJ hasn't proven that he's the franchise quarterback that the Vikings thought they had gotten when they drafted him. If hindsight, if they could do things all over again, we already know they would keep Sam Darnold and trade McCarthy. So that's where they are now. So they got to continue to see whether or not McCarthy can be this franchise quarterback, but, again, they're bringing in another veteran. So we're going to have possibly the same type of scenario we had with Sam Darnold. So they really don't feel that McCarthy is their franchise quarterback, because if they felt that way, they wouldn't bring in a top-notch quarterback in Kyler Murray. So Kyler has a chance to get that starting job, at least provide a full-fledged competition for the starting position. So, JJ, you better hear all the noise, because you in kind of trouble there if you don't play the way you need to play. So, JJ, you better be careful, because you could hear the footsteps of Kyler Murray in that position.
Yeah, but they short footsteps, First Lady. All right, First Lady. Over to you for more flipping.
Yes. Okay. Oh, if the play-in started today for the NBA West, the teams would be the Warriors, Trailblazers, Suns, and Clippers. We wonder, will any of these teams get past their first round opponent? Spitface said at least one play-in team will get past the first round. Defend.
All right, personally, I'm looking at the characters in the NBA West. The Warriors, the Trailblazers, the Suns, and the Clippers. And I have to say that the Suns would have a shot. They would have a shot, even though they would have to face the Spurs. They would have the best shot at upsetting the Spurs and actually going forward. The Warriors and Trailblazers, they ended up having to face the Thunder and just get wiped out. Just get wiped out. But the potential for the Suns to come in and work on the Spurs, especially since the Spurs, this is really the first time that they're like, in a way, they're like a rookie team going into the playoffs. They ain't got all that experience, and the Suns, they've been there, and maybe not recently, but they've been there. So they could possibly sneak on past. I would say that again, the Suns could sneak on past. They have actually they got a really decent record. They're only a couple of games behind, like the Timberwolves and the Rockets and the Nuggets, and the Lakers. So really, they kind of like close to being in the mix. So I would give them the shot.
Okay, so you're saying the Suns would be given the shot. So I agree with you. Right now, the way the play-in started today, the Suns are in the 7th position, the Warriors are in the 8th position, the Trailblazers are in the 9th, and the Clippers are currently in the 10th. So the Suns would be in the 7th, and you say they play the Spurs are number 2, so they would play the Spurs, and then you got the 10th position, whoever gets that 10th position, not the 10th, the 8th seed would play the OKC. So the question is, can the Spurs be upset by any of these teams? To be honest with you, I think the Spurs could be upset either by the Suns or also by the Warriors if Stephen Curry is part of the team and he's playing and he's healthy. We forget about the Warriors. The Warriors have a good team that I would be a little bit afraid to play if Steph Curry is healthy. And, the Suns are, right now the Suns are, I'm not sure when Dylan Brooks, he broke his hand. I think they say he's coming back in 2 months. So, he's there, but they also got Jalen Green. So Jalen Green has been, he's really started very slowly for the Suns. He was injured and really wasn't playing that much. So he's there. So the Suns are really a good team. The good thing about the Suns, they play defense and they have good offense. The Blazers, Trailblazers, I don't think they have a shot. I really don't. I don't think they have a shot. Now, the Clippers to me are the wild team in this whole scenario. Because when you look at them, especially after the trade of James Harden, they have two young guards there. They got Bennett Mathurin, and they have the guy from Cleveland, Darius Garland. So those are two great young guards, players that really, they're not an upgrade of James Harden, but I think they fit better with the Clippers because they can play defense, especially Mathurin. Mathurin is a great defensive player. And Kawhi Leonard seems to be very healthy this season. So I'm going to rank the Suns as a team that could upset in the first round. And then I'm going to say the Golden State Warriors are another team that could upset the first round. Will they be OKC? Probably not. But we see OKC to be very vulnerable as of lately. And then the Clippers. So I'm going to give those three teams, the Suns, the Warriors, and the Clippers. I know I got to pick one, but I'm going to put them in that order. The Trailblazers do not have a shot. But I'm going to say the Suns number one, the Warriors number two, and the Clippers all have chances of upsetting in the first round. But definitely the Suns as being the number one team that has a chance to upset it. All right, so we're going to flip it. None of the play-in teams will make it past the first round matchup. Spitface defend. Play-in winners will be first-round losers.
And First Lady, the play-in may be fun to watch. The competition it will probably be pretty tight and pretty much fun to watch. And then it's all over. Because once they had that first round matchup where the bottom line is the play-in winners have to face the number one and the number two team. And in the NBA West, both the number one and number two teams are strong teams and with strong records. And it will play out that way. What the play-in winners will be fortunate if they don't get swept. Whether it's the Warriors or whether it's the Suns or Clippers, they plan to not get swept because it can easily happen. So the first round, I would say the Suns have a shot at possibly getting 2 games. The Warriors have a shot at a game that they can avoid the sweep. But that first round matchup, you don't even have to call up the big guys in Vegas. Like I said, in the first round matchup, for the play-ins, it's avoid the sweep. Just avoid being swept. That's what I'm saying, First Lady.
Okay, well, our past history has shown, that teams that have been successul through the play-in. You remember the Miami Heat? They were the 8th seed via the play-in, and they eventually reached the NBA Finals, right? But the Lakers were the 7th seed, and they beat the Memphis Grizzlies first round. But this year, I don't think that's going to happen because, like you said, there are 2 strong teams. You got the OKC, who's looking to do something that hasn't been done in, I'm trying to remember the last time it was done. Probably back-to-back championship was probably the Warriors that were able to get back-to-back championship, because they did that after the Miami Heat had the back-to-back championship. So the OKC, that's what they're gunning for, and they've been hunted this season. They've had some injuries, but I just don't see them losing a first round draw to either of these teams. And the Spurs, Victor Wembanyama, I mean, he has willed his team to the number 2 slot. This man is very competitive. He gets angry when he loses. You saw when recently they were down. I can't remember which team they were down to. They came back. They were down like 20-something points, maybe to begin the third quarter or something. I can't remember. But he got very emotional because this man wants to win. So I don't see anybody beating Spurs because of the drive of Victor Wembanyama. I mean, he's not going to let the Spurs lose to a play-in team. So, like you said, it's exciting. The play-in is, I like the play-in. I like the underdogs coming out of that play-in. I mean, the Heat did it last year too. They went from, I believe, the 10th seed to that first round. Of course, they lost to they got spanked by the Cleveland Cavaliers. But as far as these two teams, I just don't, those 4 teams, I just don't see any of them being able to beat the OKC nor the Spurs. I mean, it would be a tough battle on them to do that. To be honest with you, Spitface, I see OKC against any of those teams. I see them sweeping any of those teams. Against the Spurs, I can see maybe a couple of the teams getting one victory, one game possibility. But the Spurs against the OKC, it would be a wipeout, a sweep. So it's no shot. We have no shot. They have no shot. The thing about the play-in, it will be a good play-in series because, you have four teams. That's a possibility that can work things out as far as having good competition. But that's that's all it's going to be. It's going to be about the competition, the play-in, because once they get into that playoff scenario, it's not going to be pretty. It may be gritty, but it won't be pretty. All right, Spitface, please take us to break.
He said it will not be pretty. On the other side of the break, we have another performance from Dr. Empress Rose Green. On Shout Out Part 2, please keep your ears glued to those speakers.
Welcome back. The music flows from around the globe to get a shout-out from the crew. Spitface, over to you.
All right, First Lady. On the second part of shout-out, we are featuring another track from Dr. Empress Rose Green. Let's hear the title track from her album, Negritude.
I am the drum beat before the chains, the rhythm that cross oceans yet still untamed. A passport stamped in pain, beauty, and pride. A voice too loud to colonize. I am a negritude, not just in hue, but in the vine colorful essence. A daughter of the soil, a walking testament to my resilience. I am what your hope looks like, crossing lakes, valleys, and oceans. A professional at what I do and what patience looks like in motion. But don't get it twisted, I'm polished in purpose. Seasoned in strategy, I'm a quiet storm. built differently, ahead of the curve and away from the norm. Not your regular runway slave. No, I'm not just a pretty face. Take away my liberty, I promise tomorrow I will rise with grace. Say it loud and proud. Loud. I'm black and I'm proud. I'm an introvert, but way ahead of the crowd. My negritude is not just skin deep, it's soul anchored, you know. It's the confidence to speak softly and still effectively command the very room. It's my ability to lead without shouting, to uplift others while climbing even higher. Trust and believe I'm Dr. Empress Rose Green. I am fire. I am negritude, not just black skin, but black soul. A poetry of pigment, pride of the diaspora, rolled all into one burning scroll. I am negritude, Pan-African is my blood type. Understand that borders mean nothing to the very roots of my flight. From Lagos to Kingston, Accra to Boston, I don't just survive, I write history on changeable chapters. I am the blueprint, fuck it, I am the black print. Though you dare to gentrify my struggle, you can't mimic my hustle. Can't patent the soul in my stride. I am of God, an empress, a blessed, crowned prize. Now, allow me to speak the facts you thought meant silence. A mere defiance, breathe authenticity, no need for pretense. I've earned every scar, hurdles climbed, I've honed and worn my dreams like second skin in zones unknown. I constantly lead with love because power without kindness is merely performance. Groomed in confidence, powered by grace, blessed to the Most High for my balance. So when you breathe my negritude, my soulful blackness, understand I wear the vibe of a continent, not a monolith. And when you say my name, say it with reverence, a bass in your voice, and put some damn respect on my name. I am the drum beat before the trains, the rhythm that crossed oceans, still untamed, a passport stamped in pain and pride, a voice too loud to colonize.
All right. Dr. Empress Rose Green with negritude. First Lady, what's the verdict? Is negritude getting a couple of snaps, a shout out, or the mute button?
Yeah, I'm going to snap, and shout out. I like her. Like I said, I like more of the context and the substance of her spoken word poetry. So definitely going to give her a snap.
She is in a groove. I got to give it a shout out and a couple of snaps and a toe tap. That is the end of shout out for this week. You can check out Dr. Empress Rose Green on the Old Grumpy Radio Network. Feel free to Google her. If you'd like to be heard or have any comments, please send your emails and tracks to talent@oldgrumpyradio.com. First Lady, over to you.
All right. We are looking to see, Spitface, what is your top story to watch this week?
Kyler Murray, will he be going to the Vikings? Will they pull that trigger?
Okay, yeah. Well, my top story to watch is the United States of America. They escaped being eliminated from the 2026 World Baseball Classic quarterfinals. They almost didn't make it because they lost 8-6 to Italy, and they had to depend on other teams winning, Italy to win, or another team had to win by 5 points or something like that. But anyway, they were able to secure a spot in the quarterfinals in Pool B with that 3-1 record. So kudos to the United States. So we're going to continue to watch them to see if they can win the World Baseball Classic. All right. On August 9th, 2026, we had National Women's Day. So we celebrated National Women's Day every year. It's celebrated, and it's a lot of things that women do in this world. So you can't live with them, can't live without them. All right. That's the best thing we always know about women, but it's so glad that we can celebrate National Women's Day and National Women's Month. All right, check out current and previous episodes at BrasPantiesandSports.com. This is Cheryl Smith, the First Lady of Sports Talk, and Spitface. You have been listening to Bras, Panties, and Sports. See you next week. Welcome back. The music flows from around the globe to get a shout-out from the crew. Spitface, over to you.
All right, First Lady. On the second part of the shout-out, we are featuring another track from Dr. Empress Rose Green. Let's hear the title track from her album, Negritude.
I am the drum beat before the chains, the rhythm that crossed oceans yet still untamed. A passport stamped in pain, beauty, and pride. A voice too loud to colonize. I am a negritude, not just in hue, but in the vine colorful essence. A daughter of the soil, a walking testament to my resilience. I am what your hope looks like, crossing lakes, valleys, and oceans. A professional at what I do and what patience looks like in motion. But don't get it twisted, I'm polished in purpose. Seasoned in strategy, I'm a quiet storm. Built differently ahead of the curve and away from the norm. Not your regular runway slave. No, I'm not just a pretty face. Take away my liberty, I promise tomorrow I will rise with grace. Say it loud and proud, loud. I'm black and I'm proud. I'm an introvert, but way ahead of the crowd. My negritude is not just skin deep, it's soul anchored, you know. It's the confidence to speak softly and still effectively command the very room. It's my ability to lead without shouting, to uplift others while climbing even higher. Trust and believe I'm Dr. Empress Rose Green. I am fire. I am negritude, not just black skin, but black soul. A poetry of pigment, pride of the diaspora, rolled all into one burning scroll. I am negritude, Pan-African is my blood type. Understand that borders mean nothing to the very roots of my flight. From Lagos to Kingston, Accra to Boston, I don't just survive, I write history on changeable chapters. I am the blueprint, fuck it, I am the black print. Though you dare to gentrify my struggle, you can't mimic my hustle. Can't patent the soul in my stride. I am of God, an empress, a blessed, crowned prize. Now, allow me to speak the facts you thought meant silence. A mere defiance, breathe authenticity, no need for pretense. I've earned every scar, hurdles climbed, I've honed and worn my dreams like second skin in zones unknown. I constantly lead with love because power without kindness is merely performance. Groomed in confidence, powered by grace, blessed to the Most High for my balance. So when you breathe my negritude, my soulful blackness, understand I wear the vibe of a continent, not a monolith. And when you say my name, say it with reverence, a bass in your voice, and put some damn respect on my name. I am the drum beat before the trains. The rhythm that crossed oceans, still untamed. A passport stamped in pain and pride. A voice too loud to colonize.
All right. Dr. Empress Rose Green with Negritude. First Lady, what's the verdict? Is Negritude getting a couple of snaps, a shout-out, or the mute button?
Yeah, I'm going to snap, and shout out. I like her. Like I said, I like more of the context and the substance of her spoken word poetry. So definitely going to give her a snap.
She is in a groove. I got to give it a shout out and a couple of snaps and a toe tap. That is the end of shout out for this week. You can check out Dr. Empress Rose Green on the Old Grumpy Radio Network. Feel free to Google her. If you'd like to be heard or have any comments, please send your emails and tracks to talent@oldgrumpyradio.com. First Lady, over to you.
All right. We are looking to see, Spitface, what is your top story to watch this week?
Kyler Murray, will he be going to the Vikings? Will they pull that trigger?
Okay, yeah. Well, my top story to watch is the United States of America. They escaped being eliminated from the 2026 World Baseball Classic quarterfinals. They almost didn't make it because they lost 8-6 to Italy, and they had to depend on other teams winning, Italy to win, or another team had to win by 5 points or something like that. But anyway, they were able to secure a spot in the quarterfinals in Pool B with that 3-1 record. So kudos to the United States. So we're going to continue to watch them to see if they can win the World Baseball Classic. All right. On August 9th, 2026, we had National Women's Day. So we celebrated National Women's Day. Every year it's celebrated, and it's a lot of things that women do in this world. So you can't live with them, can't live without them. All right. That's the best thing we always know about women, but it's so glad that we can celebrate National Women's Day and National Women's Month. All right, check out current and previous episodes at BrasPantiesandSports.com. This is Cheryl Smith, the First Lady of Sports Talk, and Spitface. You have been listening to Bras, Panties, and Sports. See you next week.